The Roman Empire was a juggernaut, its legions the finest fighting force the ancient world had ever known. But even this seemingly unstoppable machine faced challenges that tested its limits. One of the most dramatic was the Gallic Rebellion, led by the charismatic and determined Vercingetorix. For a time, it seemed as though the disparate Gallic tribes might succeed in their bid for independence. Yet, the rebellion was ultimately undone by a brilliant series of strategies masterminded by Julius Caesar. In the mastermind strategy that completely wrecked the Gallic Rebellion, we delve into the cunning tactics, relentless discipline, and unmatched political acumen that crushed the rebellion and secured Caesar's place in history. By the time of the Gallic Rebellion, Julius Caesar was already an ambitious and skilled general. His campaigns in Gaul, which began in 58 BCE, had expanded Roman territory and brought immense wealth to Rome. However, the Gallic tribes, fiercely independent and resentful of Roman dominance, chafed under their new overlords. While Caesar's divide-and-conquer tactics had been effective in subjugating individual tribes, the rise of Vercingetorix changed everything. Vercingetorix, a chieftain of the Arverni tribe, was unlike any leader Caesar had faced before. Young, charismatic, and brilliant in his own right, he managed to unite the often fractious Gallic tribes into a single cohesive force. This unity was unprecedented in Gallic history and presented a formidable challenge to Roman control. The rebellion began in 52 BCE, with Vercingetorix rallying tribes to his banner and employing guerrilla warfare tactics. Instead of engaging the legions in open battle, he burned towns, destroyed food supplies, and used the rugged Gallic terrain to his advantage. His goal was to starve Caesar's legions and force them to retreat. For a time, the strategy worked. Roman supply lines were stretched thin, and morale among the troops began to falter. But Caesar was not a man to be easily defeated. His first step was to counter the starvation tactics with an ingenious logistical solution. He divided his forces, sending smaller groups to forage for food while maintaining a defensible core. This allowed him to sustain his army even as the Gauls attempted to deny them resources. Caesar also employed his mastery of engineering, constructing fortified camps and roads to secure supply routes and protect his men from ambush. One of the turning points in the rebellion was Caesar's response to the Gallic scorched earth strategy. When the Gauls began burning their own towns to deny resources to the Romans, Caesar adapted by capturing these towns before they could be destroyed. He turned the Gallic tactics against them, using the captured settlements as supply depots for his own forces. This not only sustained his army, but also demoralized the Gauls, who saw their homes being used to aid their enemy. Vercingetorix, however, remained a cunning adversary. He retreated to the fortified hill town of Gergovia, drawing Caesar into a siege. The terrain heavily favored the defenders, and Caesar's attempts to take the town ended in a rare and humiliating defeat. The loss at Gergovia emboldened the Gauls and made Caesar's position precarious. But instead of retreating, Caesar regrouped and devised a strategy to turn the tide. Recognizing that the unity of the Gallic tribes was the greatest threat to Roman control, Caesar sought to exploit divisions among them. He sent emissaries to rival tribes, offering them favorable terms and emphasizing the risks of aligning with Vercingetorix. Slowly but surely, he began to peel away Vercingetorix's support. Some tribes defected, while others remained neutral, unwilling to risk total destruction at the hands of Rome. At the same time, Caesar prepared for a decisive confrontation. In a bold and risky move, he advanced on the fortified city of Alesia, where Vercingetorix had retreated with his army. The siege of Alesia would become one of the most famous battles in Roman history, showcasing Caesar's unparalleled strategic brilliance. Alesia was a well-fortified stronghold, perched atop a hill and surrounded by natural defenses. Vercingetorix believed it to be an impregnable fortress. To take the city, Caesar employed an audacious plan. He ordered the construction of an elaborate system of fortifications encircling Alesia, a circumvallation. This wall, complete with trenches, towers, and traps, was designed to prevent the Gauls from breaking out. But Caesar didn't stop there. Anticipating that Gallic reinforcements would come to relieve the siege, he ordered the construction of a second wall, an outer ring of fortifications called a contravallation. This wall faced outward, protecting the Romans from an external attack. In effect, Caesar had built a fortress around his enemy while simultaneously defending his own position. The double fortifications were a logistical and engineering marvel, completed in an astonishingly short time. They stretched for miles and demonstrated the discipline and ingenuity of the Roman legions. Trapped inside Alesia, Vercingetorix's forces faced starvation, while outside, the Gallic reinforcements found themselves unable to break through Caesar's defenses. The battle that followed was a desperate and brutal affair. The Gallic reinforcements launched wave after wave of attacks on the outer walls, while those inside Alesia tried to break through the inner fortifications. Caesar himself fought alongside his men, rallying them at critical moments. The Romans, though vastly outnumbered, held their ground thanks to their superior training, discipline, and the strength of their fortifications. The climax of the siege came when a massive coordinated assault by the Gauls threatened to overwhelm the Roman defenses. Caesar, recognizing the gravity of the situation, personally led a counterattack with his reserves. His leadership and the resolve of his legions turned the tide, and the Gallic forces were decisively defeated. With the reinforcements shattered, Vercingetorix had no choice but to surrender. He rode out from Alesia and presented himself to Caesar, signaling the end of the rebellion. The capture of Vercingetorix marked the final blow to Gallic resistance and solidified Roman control over Gaul. The aftermath of the rebellion was devastating for the Gallic tribes. Rome imposed harsh terms, ensuring that no future rebellion could threaten their dominance. Caesar, meanwhile, returned to Rome as a hero, his victory in Gaul cementing his reputation as one of history's greatest generals. The mastermind strategy that wrecked the Gallic Rebellion was a testament to Caesar's brilliance as a military commander. His ability to adapt to changing circumstances, exploit his enemy's weaknesses, and inspire his troops was unmatched. The Siege of Alesia, in particular, showcased the power of engineering, logistics, and sheer determination in achieving victory. Caesar's triumph was also a political and psychological victory. By breaking the unity of the Gallic tribes and demonstrating the futility of resistance, he ensured that Rome's grip on Gaul would remain unshakable. This campaign reshaped the power dynamics of Europe. With Gaul firmly under Roman control, Rome's resources swelled, laying the groundwork for the empire's future expansions. The rebellion's defeat also sent a message to Rome's other territories: resistance was futile. In hindsight, the Gallic Rebellion's collapse was not just a product of superior Roman tactics, but also the disunity that plagued the tribes. For all of Vercingetorix's brilliance, he could not fully overcome the age-old rivalries among the Gallic people. Caesar's ability to exploit these fissures proved as decisive as his military strategies. The story of the rebellion, marked by moments of heroism and tragedy, remains one of the most captivating episodes in ancient history. The Siege of Alesia, in particular, stands as a testament to what meticulous planning, adaptability, and relentless determination can achieve even against the steepest odds. It was this masterful combination of factors that completely wrecked the Gallic Rebellion and cemented Caesar's legacy.